And Britta, Avery, they've been with us probably around 2 years, and Matt and Britta just recently had the opportunity of going over to Israel. How long were y'all there, Matt? Was it 2?
It was 10 days round trip.
Okay, 10 days round trip. I'll let him tell you more about that, but just thought this was a special opportunity that they've had, and they've got some wonderful pictures and some great stories about things over there that he wants to share with you tonight. So turn it over to Matt.
Is it on?
Yep.
All right. All right. I got a lot of pictures. I ain't going to waste a lot of time with the introduction other than me and Britta's trip to Israel was an answered prayer. It was just a true blessing. I want to go back as soon as I can. We'll start with, we left Tampa, flew from Tampa to Frankfurt, Germany, landed in Tel Aviv. And this here is a picture of Tel Aviv. As you see, it's just a big city. We got there right at dinner time we went through customs, and went out, had supper, and we went out for a walk on the Mediterranean. And try this. This is what it looks like in daylight from our hotel. As you can tell, it's hazy. It's this big town. They got kind of different what I pictured it being, really. That's the kind of food we got served. The tour that we went was Imagine Tours. Recommend it to everybody. They took care of us really well, especially on the food department. Now, I didn't know what all kind of food I was eating, but it was good. But I ain't picky either. Let me back up here. Where I'm taking that picture at now, if you went the other way, is Jaffa, and that's where Peter seen his vision of the sheep falling down. And you can actually see the church they erected in the spot. And a lot of these spots I'm going to show you are traditional spots. They're not maybe the exact spot or the exact place. And everybody's told that when you go there, you get to see the traditional. Now, some of them are pretty certain. There's about 3 that's everybody agrees on. The guides you get is not from Imagine. They're set up through the government of Israel to be a guide for Israel. They have to have a doctrine and religion and Christianity. So they told us most of the guys are probably going to know more about the Bible than we do. And they did know most of all the stories, and they all spoke good English. So I'll go back. This is the Holocaust Museum. I recommend everybody needs to go to it. Any of these doubters that think it didn't happen, it's just filled with overwhelming evidence. It's pretty sad, really. But it's a great place to go visit while you're there. Tel Aviv was the largest city, and just straight north of it, I got a map that you can kind of follow if you want to when you leave. This is Caesarea Maritime. It's built by Herod the Great, tourist attraction town. Pretty much big port city he built to, just get all the people in there and spend all the money, just like what we do today. They build events like the theater, built a horse track. That's a horse track right there. To games, just like football games. Just everybody needs to come here and spend their money. And this was his palace that he built. One of them is on the beach. The other one goes, this one right here that you're looking at, goes out into the ocean. And it's kind of neat the way they was able to form concrete, mortar, whatever you want to call it, underneath the ocean is through volcanic ash that he had shipped in. You mix it with volcanic ash in there would let it seal. And this square that you're looking at is, of course, Herod the Great. Can't go in great detail about him, but he liked his reputation of being called the Great, and he wanted a freshwater pool out in the middle of the ocean, to be a little fancy. And that's what that is a pool. And that there is the well that he had made just right on the beach, pretty much, to supply the fresh water to that pool. The well's still there. That there's, I like to call them Bible backers for the New Testament. It's one of probably the better ones we've got. Now, it's been around for a while, but that stone reads Pontius Pilate on there. So everybody knows who Pilate is. That there is, it's written in stone. What can you say? It was there. He was a real guy. So that was, now that's not the original one. It's in a museum, but that's a copy. There's a couple New Testament references, Acts 9:23, Paul's in Caesarea a lot, but we didn't get to see a lot of New Testament because there's not like those kind of artifacts there. Yeah, Peter, Paul was there, but nothing like what Herod the Great. This next trip, we saddled up, and before I get onto Mount Carmel, this is Mount Carmel, and you're looking at the Jezreel Valley. But Caesarea, it's amazing that beside that horse track was a parking lot that they've never even unearthed. And it's just amazing to me how much of Israel they still hadn't, unearthed. And they did have one little section, and they was bringing it out in like little bitty buckets. Every little shovel had to be filtered through. This is where Elijah defeated the prophets of Baal on the peak of Mount Carmel, now traditional site, but this is the highest spot on Mount of Carmel. This is where the burning took place, and I think they tried to tell us that below this is, where all the priests and stuff got killed, but it's a pretty awesome view. I mean, you can see Nazareth. Clear day, they say you can see Galilee, but as you can tell, it wasn't clear. You can see Megiddo. It's just a big valley. One of the couple of the things that are big, most everything was like small and close together. But they've got a statue of Elijah, but that was probably not erected by the Hebrews or the Jews, because they can have statues, of course. They've got a church there, and it's kind of a Christian site. But from there we went on. Olive trees are everywhere, literally everywhere you go. And they was not ripe yet, but I ate one that's pretty bitter. A lot of the local people there will take them and crush them in their hand, and it's like some of the best lotion. It don't smell bad or get sticky or gooey. And that's from the bottom looking up to where we were. You can kind of see the building and the church they had on top. These are roadside stones that from the road that we went from Mount Carmel, and we're headed to Megiddo. And these are just roadside stones that was unearthed that give you a kind of an idea of how they buried people. All right. Tel Megiddo. Tel is Tel Aviv, Tel Megiddo. You hear these things. Tel is a city that is built on top of another city, built on top of its ruins. So when you hear a Tel, that's what it's saying is it's been a popular hotspot for different cultures and countries. That's kind of what the gist of the city looked like, is on a mount, right kind of on the side of the valley. That's where we get the Greek name Armageddon, most of it anyways. In Israel, at ancient times, and probably not today, but for a while there, Israel's biggest trade was information, because it stood in between the Egypt and Babylon. And so everybody would have to travel through this valley to get to one country or the other. So this was a good hot spot for everybody to charge somebody or just put them up for the night or whatever. So a lot of different people wanted this little spot here to make money on, to get all the travelers. Okay. Am I not pointing it the right way or something? It was working. There we go. Whoop. It's catching up with us now. I don't have yeah, we're going to back it up. That's me and computers right there. Well, y'all get a sneak peek. What's coming up? This. All right, I'll try it again here. All right. This is just, they was able to stage up 2,000 horses, is pretty much what this picture of all the stables. This here is kind of interesting. They dug this out by hand, and what happens is they build their towns or their cities on a mountain. Well, they have to dig down inside the mountain to let the spring water in, to go down to fetch the water for the city. So that was all dug, pretty much by hand. No big bulldozers going to be coming out helping them do that, and we got to walk all the way down through there. This is Mount of Precipice. This is where Jesus went to Nazareth. In Luke 4, they tried to shove him off the edge of the cliff, and he walked through the crowd. I don't know if y'all remember that. Now this sign, you can tell it probably was not written quite right, because it says he jumped from the mountain, but the view of it is, so you can see the cliff. This, like I said, traditional spot. This is Nazareth. We was on the other side of this valley, a while ago. Now you're looking at the Megiddo on the other side. Modern day Nazareth. It's an Arabic town. A lot of Muslims, few Christians, not very many. Matter of fact, when we was praying on the Mount of Precipice, their prayer went off. The mosque, that was my first time hearing that. That was a little different. But just markets and stuff. This is the synagogue. We read the scroll. They got a place you can go in there and sing, pray. This is Cana. They had a church service going on in there of some sort, so we didn't get to go in the church building. But water to wine, everybody knows that one. This is the ruins of it. You go out, of course, everything you got to go down. Everything's not on the ground surface. Most everything is, you got to go down because of all the rebuilding and stuff that they did on top of each other over there. That is the vat that supposedly, it's what it looked like, that held the water that Jesus turned into wine. I think it's broke, but it gives you an idea because they're big. And that picture there is kind of fuzzy, but Sea of Galilee, we rode on the Faith boat. Pretty water, pretty country. North Israel's pretty. It kind of gives you the idea of why the northern kingdom thought they could just be okay without the southern part, and be okay with setting up their own, Jeroboam setting up his own, all altars and stuff, because they got all the farming, they got all the water, they got all the forest, and the southern part's pretty barren. But he's wrong. There's another picture of Sea of Galilee. Faith. Okay, that's Tiberias, mainly a Gentile town for them. So as you can see, the water was pretty choppy when we was on there, and the storms they just blow in. While we was there around the Sea of Galilee, storms would just randomly blow in, blow out, and gone. So that's you're getting kind of a picture of what it looks like around it. Not all of it was that steep, but that was probably one of the best times for everybody who's been on the Sea of Galilee. Everybody enjoyed it. It was good times. The weather was, like I said, it was storming. This boat they have for the Christians, they have a guy sing, and you can pray, do whatever you want to do. Your guide sets it all up. That's a Roman area boat. That's we stayed at one night Tel Aviv. We stayed 2 nights at Kibbutz Ganassar, and they found this boat right next to it, and that's in between Tiberias and Magdala. But this is the Church of Beatitudes, Sermon on the Mount. This is Tel Dan. Jeroboam built his altar. He built one up north, one in the south. This is the north one. Abrahamic time frame of Dan. It's recorded in Genesis 14:14. Who knows if Abraham walked through that, but you can tell it's a gate right there in the building. But it started, it's over 3,000 years old, so pretty interesting find. That's kind of what it looked like. When I start speeding through these, I can just some more of Tel Dan. This is Caesarea Philippi. King Herod had son Philip built it for the Roman Caesar. So you get Caesarea Philippi, that pagan town. You can see where they put all their little gods up there, their idols and stuff up on them latches, and that there is where they burn their sacrifices and stuff. The story we got when we was there is Jesus brought Peter up there in front of all them pagan gods and said, okay, who do you say I am, Peter? And that's when he made his confession. Capernaum, fishing town right on next to the Sea of Galilee. To go to Tel Dan and Caesarea, we had to go north. Now we're coming back down. I did these in the order that we went. So we're back on the Sea of Galilee. That's a synagogue. The foundation on the bottom of the white one, there's a darker one. That's the one in Jesus' time. The white one that's standing there now was put up after him. That is Peter's house. They soon thereafter put a church, and as you can tell, they expanded it 3 times. That's what the layers are. That's one of the older depiction of the Ark of the Covenant. Even though it's on wheels, gives you an idea. So, Church of the Primacy. This is where fed the 5,000. Pretty spot. Sea of Galilee behind us. It's probably one of my better ones that I was under. I didn't plan on this being this good. But this where's the Gadarenes, or where Jesus cast out all the demons into the swine. Here we are on top of the cliff where the pigs ran off. They built a church there. See this cliff. Church grew. Byzantines, however you want to say it, they built a church, monastery type deal at the bottom after the top one got too small. Jordan River. It's pretty in the north, kind of muddy in the south, about the Dead Sea. But up here it's pretty. Baptism spot's really big. They got a going on probably most of the days out of the year. We get to Jerusalem. It's not shot. It's real pretty. We come in off the desert or desolate land. It's not really like a desert, but you get into the mountains, and then Jerusalem. It's just pretty. It really is awesome. This is from the Mount of Olives, the graves. There are graves that you're seeing there right below us. And the Jews all want to get buried there. Whenever they think the Messiah is going to come, they're all going to walk with him through the East Gate, Golden Gate. I got a little laser here. I'll show you. I got to hold it down, I guess. Right there is the East Gate. We go through the city. The Muslims blocked it off and then put a cemetery because, that's unclean to a Jew. But over here is the St. Stephen's Gate, I like to call it, but also known as the Lions Gate. That's how we entered the city here in a minute. Church of the Nations, it's on the Garden of Gethsemane. There's Britta, she's in the garden. They got a pretty spot. It's called a garden, but it's just a olive tree grove. This is a Pool of Bethesda. That's a church, St. Anna, which has really good acoustics. I recommend anybody go in there and sing. It's very good. This is where Jesus did a miracle. The ruins. And they call it, let's see here. What's something about St. Anna that I was wanting to tell you, but move on. Next is the Via Dolorosa. I don't know if you all know that's the road where he carried the cross. Now, the one you see on TV, if you ever watch that, it's not the real one. The real one's down under. You got to go underneath the ground. That's the real one. This is one of the few spots where everybody has come to agreement that this is one of the Jesus spots that he's very close, if not right on this spot. The ridges and the stones indicate Roman roads. That's how they built the roads. They put grooves in them, keep their wagons from slipping. Holy Sepulchre. Everybody's probably seen this church. Muslim blocked the door again. If you can see, there's a Crusader's a knight. He's buried right there. Different denominations own the church, but a Muslim holds the key. I think it's one or two family of Muslims, and they're there all the time. They was there when we were there. You got the Orthodox and the Catholics and different denominations all own the church, but to keep peace, they give Muslims a key, the family, and it's a big deal to the Muslims, the family, to pass on the key. But they shut it and lock it every night. That's like I said, these are traditional. Stone where he laid after they got him off the cross. Golgotha spot for the Roman Catholics. This is the upper room. Who knows, the real upper room is probably the lower room now. But it is packed. This is the old city is divided up in four quarters: the Christian, Jewish, Muslim, and the sector we're in now. And I lost my train of forgot what it's called, but they're a type of Christian, but I had never really heard of them before. That is David's tomb. It's right there next or above the upper room. It's Nothing. You have to wear a head covering and go in there, like the Jews do. It's packed in there. They're doing their prayers. So we're going on to Bethlehem, and it was that is the field of Boaz and Ruth. Remember that story? They met. Yep, that's the traditional site. That's to give you an idea of what the caves look like. The nativity scenes we see that are wooden barn. What I got from over there is most of the time that's born in caves. And the mangers were usually dug out of the stone to hold water. But there could have been wooden ones, but more than likely everybody's born in a cave, and caves are really popular. They're all over. That was Shepherd's Field, by the way. Church and Nativity. There's a lot of stuff I was wanting to go over with y'all, but I just ain't going to have time. The Shepherd's Field is pretty amazing, just to get to go there and see that not only was David from Bethlehem and Jesus is Bethlehem, but that's where they grew all the sheep, so for sacrifices and stuff. So there's a symbolism there that come to me. It's like, okay, just something other that symbolizes Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. That's where people got their sheep, and that's where he's from. Church Nativity, oldest church in the world, 1,500 years old, 540 AD. Reason it didn't get destroyed with all the other ones is I believe it was the Persians, whenever they came in, they seen pictures of the wise men from the east, and it looked like them, or some of their ancestors or whatever. So they liked it and they didn't destroy it. You got to go in. That comes from the eye of the needle story we hear. Make the door real small. Everybody's got to bow down to get in. That's the old door. That's the original floor. You can see parts of it while you're there. It's Orthodox and Catholics. They share the church. You can reach in there and touch the stone. The stone is the cave bedrock that they believe the spot was where Jesus was born. Manger spot. That's what the church looks like for the Catholic side. After that we went to the Dead Sea area. 60 miles long, 12 foot wide, 600 feet deep. It has a lot of minerals in it. They're draining it, getting all the minerals. It's receding 9 feet per year, and they're in the works of getting water back to it, I think, from the Red Sea. Acacia tree that's what Noah built the ark with. I guess we got some of them in Florida too, but I hadn't seen none. But it's got a spring there. This is the En-Gedi. It's known where David cut the corner off Saul's cloth in one of these caves. About like that. David took, some of his strongholds or places for him to hide at was En-Gedi. This is Masada, not really biblical. Awesome spot to go see. King Herod, one of his big three was Masada, Caesarea Maritime, of course, what he did on the Temple Mount. But that there was pretty awesome. On the right-hand side, he built what we call the Hanging Palace. See the foundation and the flats? All this up here was city walls that were, I think that's 12 foot thick, they said. But it was a fortress for him to go hide because he didn't know if the Jews was ever going to get mad enough to overthrow him or the Romans, but he had a place to go run hide to. That's kind of what it looks like today. That's kind of what the palace looks like when it was there. This is the remains. Picture of the Dead Sea is real pretty. We didn't get the pictures of the cable car on there, and I meant to. But we took a huge cable car to get up to the top. And then me and my cousins, we actually walked down. And Britt did too, by the way. On to Qumran, City of Salt. This is where everybody's heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is one of the caves they found them. Essenes was a group that left during the time of Roman, probably a little bit before Jesus came, they think. But they did a lot of spiritual bathing, kind of like a baptism type deal, but supposedly they're the ones that wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. They've got a copy of all of them in the Old Testament except for Esther. And there was a link, cool story, too long to tell, with John the Baptist, whether it was true or not. Supposedly there's a picture of him in one of their caves too, but maybe you can do some research. And this here, not sure. Kind of put them up there, let me know I'm moving on to the next spot. That was the Temple Mount sign. This is the western wall. We're on the Temple Mount. Dome of the Rock, that's the second one, by the way. Neat story. Whenever they built that Dome of the Rock, they wanted to build it right on top of the Holies of Holies. That's where they wanted to build it. Whoever they asked, whoever they got their information from, they didn't tell them the truth because they didn't build it in the right spot. So they put this spot up and kind of make up for it. But that spot there is a traditional site of the Holies of Holies. This is the southern steps. This is probably one of the other spots that kind of took me more than what the steps, maybe not the one I'm sitting on, but they're carved out of the bedrock, so they've been there. Those was the real deals. You know, this is another spot that Jesus was around. I mean, this is the double gate going into the southern wall. Next to me is the triple gate, or the beautiful gate, that you'll also find that disciples did some miracles going into that one. City of David. City of David, one place in Israel that I found a Dr. Pepper. I didn't find Dr. Pepper nowhere else. I bought 2 of them. By that time, they eat really healthy over there. They drink water and wine, and that's it. And Dr. Pepper's not on their menu. And I found a little spot here, and some of the best grapes I've ever ate. Brita plucked one off. I thought I was going to get arrested because there's so much security everywhere if we touched anything. But she couldn't resist. She got a couple grapes, and we ate them, and they was delicious. There they are. This is the tunnel David and his men claim, got the Jebusites, beat them, take over the city. We didn't get to go, of course that's steep, so they had to use ropes, and it wasn't just walking through it. It comes out at the Pool of Siloam. I might come back in a minute and show you a video of the Hezekiah's tunnel that Hezekiah built to get water to the city during the Syrians. A lot of history there, but it's cool to do while you're there, is to walk through the Hezekiah tunnel. Pool of Siloam. Everybody kind of familiar with that story. They had, it's in John 9:7. This was discovered 2004. So it's a relatively new place. Okay, I might come back to it because I only got 15 minutes left. Garden Tomb. This is another site that tradition holds. You got the Holy Sepulchre, then you got the Garden Tomb. 2 sites that have a tomb. They think Golgotha was. This is one reason because it's outside the city walls, but then they found out that so was the other one because King Agrippa redid the walls later. But to me, I like this more of a Protestant type. It's real peaceful. Story is there's this guy named British General of Gordon. Wait a minute, I'm supposed to do something for Britta. I messed up. See the dove? She got a good picture. Dove and peace and all that. But he supposedly was sitting on the northern wall and looked out and see the skull. I don't know if y'all can just see it without me. See this right here? Place of the skull. See how he kind of gets that from right here. There's the eyes, nose, forehead. Like I say, traditional sites, and then the digging for the tombs is over here. The skull, the nose kind of broke off a year or two ago, but this is inside the tomb that they found. They found the reason why they know that it might be they got a Roman area spot there that was for wine pressing, and they dated it back. And then they found this tomb. So this is inside of it. Pretty cool place to go to. There's a cross engraved on it. Who could, these are just the facts. There's the place where they roll the stone where Britta's standing. You can kind of see the lip. There's the wine press. Schindler's List. This is next to the city of David. I don't know if y'all ever seen a movie, but this is where Oscar Schindler was buried. It's a little Christian cemetery off the side. They keep it up real nice for all the Christian heroes that took care of some of the Jews during Holocaust time stuff. This is the view from the city of David looking out. This is the Kidron Valley here, going back to the Mount Olives, and be about here. You can kind of see the beauty of the city without all the buildings there. Back probably when David was looking at it. It's probably real pretty. This is all West Bank, I believe. But either way, it's Arabic villages. And a totally different way of life than the way the Hebrews or the Jewish people live. This is one of my favorite spots. This is Caiaphas' house. Like the Via Dolorosa, this is one spot that everybody agrees upon. Not in particular this citron that they made into a jail cell. That there's a cross engraved. I think I got another picture of it better. But they put these holes. These are steps right there. So you take the prisoner, and you get him down a little ways, and then you just shove him. He falls down the rest of the way. But this is where they believe Jesus was held overnight. Caiaphas' house. There's the cross there that was engraved, and probably a lot of this might have been done by the Crusaders or who knows. But this was pretty neat. This is depiction of them all singing after the Lord's Supper, headed down to the Mount Olives garden area. And these are the steps that they took. This is one of the few spots that these steps here was more than likely Jesus walked on them. Who knows for sure, but they all agree upon it. And then, of course, you got to take him back. This here is the second thing that was bigger than what I imagined was the Valley of Elah. David and Goliath, big showdown happened here. As you can see, it's big. So you can see where all the armies. And I think the Philistines was over here. Israelis was over there. Britta found that just laying in the creek bed. That creek bed we're standing in. That's our guide. But here's the creek bed. All they did was take it to a spot where they knew the creek bed, where David got his stones, and where the valley is. So, downtown Jerusalem, we went out, had go shopping or whatever, just get out. We rode the metro or the train or whatever they want to call it over there. But everything had a lot of security. In Israel, after you get out of high school, 17-year-old or whatever, you go straight into the military 3 years, male or female. Both of you go. And they're on active duty. I don't know how it works, but they're everywhere. We felt completely safe the whole time. Never had one moment of feeling I was in danger, other than one time there was, of course, in a city you'll have that here in the United States. Some guy tried to stab a police officer when we come out of the garden tomb area, and he got shot. They have a strict, they've had a lot of stabbings over there, and Netanyahu put out a deal saying that full extent law, which means they don't arrest. They just, you got a knife, you're getting shot, pretty much. Way I took it. And riding on the subway there, this is downtown. Went in there, and there's a t-shirt shop that a Jewish man owns. And usually this tour company I went to sends, and he's a lot cheaper than a lot of people. And he's got an interesting story he'll tell you while you're there. His shop has been destroyed twice, one by a suicide bomber and the other one by a bomb, I think, of some kind. Yeah, it wasn't the bombs, they put them inside the tires of a bicycle. But the other one was just a suicide bomber. He's got a really neat story. If you get a chance to go, he can tell you. It's pretty lengthy. So that's my pictures. Can we go back and show the videos now? I think I got 10 minutes. I'm going to show you pictures of the Western. Can we do the Western Wall first?
I have one video.
Oh, you didn't get it? Okay. Okay, this is Hezekiah's tunnel. This is a tunnel that you can actually, there's one that, there's two of them actually. I went through the drier one, Britta took the wetter one. Go ahead and play the video. Gives you some kind of idea. If you're claustrophobic, not a good idea. So I'd like to, I kind of ran through that, and 30 minutes. It took me probably 10 or so on the other one. There's a story behind it, but I'd like to just see if anybody's got questions before I move on with anything else. Anybody got any questions about Israel or anything? Go ahead, Roger.
I saw you dressed in different ways. Some were the real cold days.
Yes.
What?
It's kind of like if you go out west, you got the elevation temperature, and then you got that. We swum in the Dead Sea. Come drive 2 hours and put your coat on, because Jerusalem is all higher elevation, and Dead Sea area is really low. It's, I think 13. Yeah, it's the lowest spot on earth. But yeah, so it varied from 70 to like 33. It almost got down to freezing. Actually, up there, Tel Dan, it snowed 5 inches of snow after we left that day. It was about 200 yards from the Syrian border. Of course, our guide didn't tell us that, but we happened to just walk up on some guards out in the middle of the woods, camped. And, what are they doing here? And he told us, well, it's that hill, that's Syria. Yeah, there you go. But we got to see Jordan, Mount Tabor. The Dead Sea was, of course, everybody, if you go to the Dead Sea, it's just like what you've heard. It floats you right up. It's a pretty cool experience. But any more questions? I got some things on the back. We was talking about Roy talking about shekels this morning. I got a shekel and a half shekel back there. I got a picture of a better picture of the Jezreel Valley. If somebody wants to outfold it and look at it, when you go over there, a lot of the, especially in Bethlehem, there's actually quite a bit of Christians in Bethlehem still. Probably more Christians there. They're Aramaic Christians, but I think it's 40% of the population there in Bethlehem. I think there's 50,000 people there. But they've got a shop there that they carve out anything out of olive wood. And so they recommend all the Christians to go there and help support them, where they live at. But I think there's a lot of places we didn't get to go. We didn't get to do them all. Like I say, everything's rush. That God sets you up, and he'll almost get halfway aggravated if you're holding up a bathroom break or something. Of course, that's their third biggest capital is tourists. So it's well orchestrated and well protected. But I can't wait to go back. Really can. I'd like to go back. I'm going to close out with a closing prayer if nobody's got any questions. Let's bow our heads. Father, thank you for tonight and for your answered prayers, Father. Thank you for your Son, Jesus, most of all, and our salvation that comes through him. Father, we thank you for your Holy Spirit and for all of our brothers and sisters that we have here at Central, and for our elders and leaders and our deacons that do all the work behind the scenes. And Father, we just pray that you bless them and keep this congregation strong. We pray that all this in Jesus' name. Amen.